Marty. There's one more adventure waiting for us.
And if time travel were possible, what would you do? What would you change?
So am I the only one that didn't even realize these existed? So these are Govee's wall scones. And I kind of stumbled across this product looking for a solution to something I wanted to do in my media room. Now, let me explain. So about 2 months ago, I decided that I wanted to revamp my entire media room. That means that I wanted to change the screen, I wanted to change the furniture, I wanted to move equipment out, I wanted to make things completely automated in that room. And kind of in the midst of doing that, obviously, I wanted to add some different type of RGB. And not just RGB, but RGB that was responsive to what was on my screen. Now, I have plans to do that around the back of the screen, kind of in a more custom way. So if you're interested in those type of things as well as some of the automation that I'm going to add to that media room, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that way you can see those videos as I release them. But getting back to the subject at hand with these scones, I wanted to add responsive RGB to the side of my media room. And there's kind of a couple ways to do that, but my problem was that any RGB strip that I came up with or that I customized was gonna probably create some form of bulk somewhere. So I looked around for something that might work and I stumbled onto these. And I gotta admit, I'm a little impressed. But before we dive too deep into how these look on my wall, let's open them up and just take a look at what you get when you buy this. Now, at the time of shooting this video, these scones are on sale for $80, but they retail at $130 on Govee's website. When you open the box, you see that you have 6 individual RGBIC wall scones that are 3 by 3 by 3 inches. Inside your side box, you get your power adapter and the plug for the scones. Now, I didn't realize it at the time when I opened this box at the time of filming, but there actually are individual back plates for each one of the scones on the bottom package that you actually use to tie them together and put them on the wall. Now, on these scones, you have an input and an output. This is what you'll use to keep the signal running from one scones to the next until you get to the end. Now, there's also no way that I'm gonna stay here at my desk while showing you this product. So let's jump into my media room. Let's take a look at setting these up and you can see how these look once I connect them and make them responsive to the screen. To show you how these are gonna attach to each other, each one of these little attachments on the back have cords. Now, these cords are wound up in like a circle inside of here. So as you pull this, it gets longer. We're not gonna pull it yet because when we pull these, we wanna make sure that they're at the right length in order to fit on the wall. But in case you wanted to wind them back in, they're actually pretty cool. They have a little turn knob here that you just crank left to kind of wind it back in.
Hi, my name's Kylie.
3, 2, 1.
And this one's table.
So as you can see, I have my helpers here in the room with me to help me get these on the wall. Yeah, so my girls helped spread these out about 2 feet apart, which in my room is what looked the best and covered the most wall. Now, I will say there is a sweet spot in spreading these out. If you put them too close, they look cluttered, but if you put them too far, you lose some of the effects of the lights. To show you how this kind of looks is the back is plugged into the end. It runs through this little back piece here. This back piece attaches to the scones, and then that's from this other connecting back piece. So this back piece will connect to the very next one. This will plug in to the out. You'll have the same repeated process all the way down until you get to the very beginning where you're gonna plug it in. One thing I didn't mention is that there is 3M tape on the back of these. And I initially wanted to use that instead of the screws that come with these, so there weren't any holes in the wall. But Admittedly, with kids and positioning, I ended up screwing these in later. That being said, I think if I would have mounted these higher, the 3M tape might have been enough. Now, setup in the app is pretty easy, but before we get to that, I know you guys are gonna kill me in the comments because I know I've been saying scones, these scones, and sconces, wall scones, these scones. But you guys know what the hell they are. Don't be coming at me. That aside, Govee makes the app setup incredibly easy as usual. Once you got the app launched, you hit the plus symbol to add a device, and usually anything you have plugged up will show up right there for you to go ahead and configure and set to your Wi-Fi. Now, once these are set up to your Wi-Fi, you have the ability then to jump in and play around with the different scenes, the DIY function. We're not gonna dive deep into it because I wanna make sure that I explain how I'm using these and got them to sync to my screen. And admittedly, the next part of this is gonna be focused more around that aspect. So if you're not really into that piece of it, then you might not be interested in the rest of this. Out of the box, these things are already cool. But when paired with Govee's sync box, things get a little interesting. So, full disclosure, I have no intention on using the strip lights that came with the sync box since I'm using a receiver in a media closet with my projector. It means that I was able to grab the cheapest option during a sale to grab the sync box. But for most people, you'll be using your sync box around a TV or a gaming monitor. So for most of you, setting this up will be really easy. You would just go into the DreamView movie setting that you have with your sync box and add the device. It'll be listed under manage the device. You'll find the sconces and you'll add them. Once you add them, you'll be taken to the area setting, which allows you to configure them based on the area that you've placed them inside your room. And once you set them up there, you're all done. I would recommend you make sure that you're set up as part instead of all for your lights. Gives it more of a fluid look. And that's really it. Nothing super crazy. Really, it's just the AI sync box doing its job. But let's take a quick look at mine, and then I'll tell you a few little things before we cap off the video.
This isn't over, Marty. There's one more adventure waiting for us.
If time travel were possible, what would you do? What would you change? What if not only the past changes, but also the future?
We're the same age, that's impossible.
It's so thin here. Time is our ally, Doc, but also our enemy. We must make the right choice. I have to save you, Doc.
Yesterday would have been a good time to start.
Whoa, this is heavy. Oh, God. It's flying carpet. I knew it. Time travel. Chris Scott.
Yeah, so as you can see, they work really well. They may be a little off as far as delay, but that's acceptable considering that they're just accent lighting along the side. And I know you may be wondering if they're too much or overbearing at times, but after testing them for a couple of days now with movies, TV, and all kinds of other shows, I actually don't notice them as much as I thought I might. So for the vibe that I'm going for in that room, they work really well. Now, if you remember, I did talk about updating that media room. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'll tell you again, go ahead and get subscribed, hit the bell notification on the side so you can stay completely up to date as I release new videos. I do love comments, so if you have tips, tricks, make sure you leave them in the comment box, or if you have questions in regards to the product, make sure you ask those in the comment box as well, and I'll make sure to respond to you as soon as I can. And that pretty much does it for this video, guys. So until my next video, deuces.